Live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Total Education Show, the talk shop for teachers, parents, and administrators. Here's your host of the show, Neil Haley, the Total...
We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and I have been informed that I have Corbin-Bernsen on the line. We all know him from Major League and also LA Law. We're going to talk about ABC's Battle of Network Stars. Corbin, thanks for calling. How are you?
Great. Good morning.
Good morning to you. I think it's great when you have what's happening with ABC's Battle of Network Stars. Did you do it a long time ago as well?
No,
in the 80s?
Back when it started, I was just a young actor, and I used to actually sneak up there and watch them filming it just to see all the, hot girls and, swimsuits, I suppose. But here it is some 45 years later, and they asked me to do it, and I thought, well, okay, but I'm not putting on a hot swimsuit. That's the only different thing.
And Corbin, it's great to reminisce about LA Law, right? Especially being on this lawyers team to remember your days in LA Law, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I've done so much stuff since then, and you go back and everything's so focused on LA Law. People think you remember everything, and it's hard to believe it was almost 30 years ago.
Exactly, for sure. And now, are you an athlete, Corbin? Because again, being in Major League and stuff like that, were you good at sports growing up?
Well, I'm not an athlete. I'm an actor. But there's a lot of actors out there pretending to be athletes. But that was a vow I made to myself. Even in Major League, you got to look like you know what you're doing. You got to look like. But any kind of reality competition, you get out there and you got these people all pretending that they want to be athletes. And I let them do that, and I'm happy playing the role of Ringo, if you will, in the band. And
so, would you consider yourself for not being an athlete, an actor, trying to be an athlete? Do you think you're pretty good compared to some? I watched some of the shows.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I don't do things in my life. I work out, I ski, I run, I do things. It's just all these actors all of a sudden feel like they have to look like they're top-notch athletes, and that's just not a burden I put on myself. But I do well. I did just completely screw my legs up in the first event, which was running around the track at breakneck speed at 8 o'clock in the morning. My legs kind of blew out and said, oh, if that's the way it's going to be, it ain't happening.
And what did you think? You see some of these guys that are competing, like it's the White House versus the lawyers tonight, and LaMonica Garrett is in unbelievable shape. I know him because from Designated Survivor, and so you have these people that are in great shape, seem like great athletes, and others, as we talked about before, that probably never picked up any of these sports before. Right. So that's the competition process that makes it so much fun.
The big great divide here is who chooses to put on all the tight shirts. They're the tight shirt people, and then there's guys like me saying, give me something a little more loose. I'll be one of those guys. Yeah, he's in great. He's got like an 8-pack, which I've never seen before. Yeah, again, that doesn't make you an athlete. However, you watch tonight, you'll see. I think I held up pretty well as an athletic person. Being in that kind of shape does not necessarily mean you win.
What would you say is your best sport in this competition? You think?
Jokester. No, I was really good in the dunk tank, just sitting there. It was the most amusing to me anyway. I did shoot some hoops. I did a 3-point shoot, which I encourage everyone to watch. Evidently, I did pretty well over the entire series. I did pretty well, which gave me great confidence in the day because I was a 5'10" white dude shooting 3-point shots, and you watch what happens. You just watch what happens.
Did you train at all before this event? Before the when you were told you were asked to do this?
No. I woke up, I rolled out of bed, put on my flip flops, and went and did it. No. Brain.
So
That's what I mean. I don't take it that seriously. You know, it's like, oh, Bella Network stars are going to go to the gym for a month beforehand. No, not at all. In fact, I had a big breakfast.
But there are people that are very motivated and competitive that are in this competition, aren't there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the further I let them try to pretend that they're athletes, and I sit back and, you know, have a laugh at it, the better off I feel. You know, I sit there. I've done a couple of reality shows where, you know, you get these young actors who want to show off their athletic prowess, and say, go for it, man. I'm gonna hang back here. I'll let you put yourself in. It's like you ever see an actor who thinks they're a rock star. It's ridiculous.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And there's competition between actors when it comes to just who play different roles and the competition of getting the job. So it just all depends in specific ways. How many people came up to you, Corbin, that made you feel like, oh my gosh, saying, I remember watching you in LA Law or different things? It's probably interesting because you have a variety of actors and actresses in this competition that watched you when you were in LA Law or Major League and had questions that never met you before.
Yeah, well, that happens every day. I mean, you know, the majority of people, I'm still amazed at people that come up and how young some are. You know, because LA Law is 86, that's like 30 some odd years ago. It's still amazing when people come up and they look like they're playing. Would you watch this from your crib? People want to know. What's really interesting to me now is it's a lot of that stuff, not memory. I mean, my memory's just fine, but it feels so far ago now that, you know, people want specific stories. It's like, man, I can't come up with anything here for you. You know, but yeah, people do, and it was interesting focusing, doing Battle of the Network Stars on the whole LA Law time. But it amazes me it was so long ago.
Oh, absolutely. And I, again, when I told my wife I was interviewing you, she was excited because she's such a huge fan of Major League. And you played a really kind of interesting guy, the bad guy in that one too. So I'm sure people that are huge sports fans love Major League, and you get recognized in questions all the time about that as well. What an iconic film that was.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's LA Law League and Psych, and then you get these oddballs at like The Dentist or these off movies that I do. But it's mostly Major League and LA Law, and then more recently Psych.
Absolutely. Any new projects you want to promote right now, Corbin, that's going on with you?
Directly, I just finished. That's my voice being a bit hoarse this morning. I just finished directing a film called Life is a Dog. It's the first time I wrote it and directed it, and I act in it. And it's the first time I've actually made a dog the star of a movie, which certainly has its challenges, shall we say. But it came out okay. It came out fine, and literally finished it 24 hours ago.
Awesome. And everyone needs to tune in tonight to see what happens with Corbin, and if his team wins, 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, Battle Network Stars on ABC. And also, are there places to follow you? Are you on Twitter and stuff, Corbin?
Yeah, I'm not active on Twitter in the last month because I've been directing, but I'll heat it up. I'll heat up my Twitter account. I'm not sure if they're all Trump on it, but I'll heat it up.
All right, well, good talking to you, Corbin. Best of luck, and good luck in all your ventures. Thanks for calling. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you so
You're
much.
listening to the Neil Haley Show. All right, thanks. You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back. We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and I'm really excited to welcome the program. We all know him from Happy Days, Anson-Williams. Anson, thanks for calling, and I'm really excited to speak with you today. How are you?
Oh, I'm just great. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Now, tell me what looking back at your days on Happy Days, what was your fondest memory of being on Happy Days?
Oh, gosh. There's so many great memories. I think, basically, I think the fondest memory was the camaraderie of the cast, the friendships. Doing the show was fantastic, so much fun, very creative, but Happy Days became so much more. Gary Marshall inspired all of us to educate ourselves, take advantage of being on the Paramount lot, and learn, other areas of the business, wear other hats. I think that's why we're all still involved in the entertainment business behind the camera, all because of Gary. And I mean, and as far as moments, there's so many memorable moments. John Lennon surprising us on the set, Ringo Starr surprising us on the set, John Belushi surprising us on the set, Henry Kissinger surprising us on the set. I mean, so many just amazing, just fantastic times and surprises.
Yeah, absolutely. Those fantastic times and surprises of that experience is amazing. And it's interesting you talk about Gary Marshall being such a great influence on all the cast, because you guys are actors that are not very well known, most of you, when it started in Happy Days, but you learned so much from Gary. You're able to all have successful careers after Happy Days. That's got to be something you really are thankful for Gary, yeah.
Oh, well, Gary was a huge influence on us because he was more than just a boss. He was a friend, and he cared about us. And he literally made Paramount Studios a college. And he told us early on, don't worry about the color of your wallpaper. Don't worry about stuff that's meaningless. Take advantage of where you are and learn. Wear other hats. He said, I'll set you up. If you want to learn to direct, I'll help you. If you want to write, I'll help you. So basically, I was able to watch Roman Polanski do all the backlot shooting at Chinatown. I watched John Schlesinger directing Day of the Locust. I observed all the musical numbers they shot at Grease at the studio. I mean, I had such an opportunity to educate myself as a director because of Gary's influence. And I think that's, Henry is still incredibly active in front and behind the camera. Ron Howard's a god in the business. I was able to create a nice television career directing. And he also inspired me as an entrepreneur. I was able to go in the product business and create and develop, a lot of wonderful products through the years, all because of Gary caring about us and inspiring us to be all we can be.
That's tremendous. And so, Battle of the Network Stars, Thursdays 9 p.m. on ABC. Now, when you were asked to do this, is this the first time? Because I've asked certain actors I've interviewed if they were on the original one. Were you on the original Battle of the Network Stars?
No. It took me 40 years to get booked. Never Say Die. I tried. I wanted to be on that show so bad when it first was on the air, and they took Scott Baio instead of me. I couldn't get booked. So finally, 40 years later, I get booked, And so on camera, I say, never say die. Never give up.
So would you say you're an athlete yourself? Like, did you train at all to be ready for this?
Well, I don't know how much you can be ready for this one. I mean, I used to, play football and play baseball and surf, and I was pretty good. But when you do Battle of the Network Stars, you go into a lot of events you've never done in your life. Like kayaking, little story, never kayaked in my life. Never been in a kayak in my life. First time in a kayak with paddles in my hand. It's on national television. And who am I going against? I'm going against Ian Ziering, who I used to direct in 90210. And, Ian, he's this huge athlete. He stars in all the Sharknado movies, he's an action star.
Yeah.
Well, he works out in kayaks. It's like a second skin, and I'm competing against him. You can imagine the comic relief. You got to tune in for this. But
absolutely.
So it was quite eventful.
The episode airing next week, Anson?
Yeah.
The episode
next Thursday night. And guess who our coach?
Awesome.
Guess who our coach was? Oh, yeah.
Who's your
coach? Our coach was Ronda Rousey.
Wow.
Yeah. Who is amazing. What a wonderful person.
Yeah. You probably have been asking. You probably want to text her now about this whole Conor McGregor thing and stuff. That's just nuts and craziness with Mayweather. Oh my gosh, isn't it?
Yeah, but I kind of think it's theatrics, don't you?
Oh, I think it's complete work. I was a former professional wrestler, Anson, and I think that this is completely a staged event. Completely. So it's just to get people to spend money in sports in August. So I think that it's already a staged event. They're trying to put as much emphasis into it, and there you go.
I agree with you. It's P.T. Barnum.
You got to love it. Now, two major things. You have a recent life-threatening experience with colon cancer. Can you share that, and then also your efforts with drowsy driving. Go with colon cancer.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, last December, I was diagnosed with colon cancer, and the bad news is I got colon cancer. The good news is the doctor said if you're going to get it, you got the one to get. So they were able to get it out, and I'm clean. But I'll tell you, it's a wake-up call. It really puts mortality right there in front of you, and it really reprioritizes your life. It's like getting a second chance. But one thing I want to tell everyone out there listening, please go get your colonoscopies. It could save your life, and do your due diligence. Don't go through what I went through, no reason to. Just go in there, get checked, and this is something they can get rid of. But if they need to get it in time, and you need to do your due diligence by getting tested, please do.
Awesome, definitely. I'm glad that you're surviving and being in awareness for that. But then the other one that's really interesting is this whole drowsy driving thing, because again, lots of people share why that experience as well, that you were trying to raise awareness for that.
Well, not only do we have awareness, I don't know if people know this, but my uncle's Dr. Henry Heimlich, who created the Heimlich maneuver. And in fact, together we got the Heimlich maneuver on national television for the first time years ago on Merv Griffin. He's been a huge influence on my life, and he's a genius. He passed away this last December, but his legacy goes on by saving lives daily. And years ago, I literally, coming back from directing, it was a hard, hot day of directing, and I fell asleep at the wheel and almost killed myself. And Dr. Heimlich said, Anson, keep cut up lemons in the car, and when you start feeling drowsy, bite into it. He explained how the sour citrus hits the lingual nerve on top of the tongue, and basically it causes an automatic reflex reaction of adrenaline in the body, naturally, nothing in your system, and you're instantly alert and instantly awake. And I did that for years, and I never had a problem again. But also through the years, I went into the product business. We created and developed many, many products. And a few years ago, we were researching, and drowsy driving is catastrophic. It kills more people than drunk driving and drug driving combined. There's 168 million drowsy drivers. 1 out of 5 accidents are caused by it. 1 out of 5 people admit to falling asleep at the wheel. There are so many innocent families torn apart to unnecessary deaths. The average age is 18 to 25. And I thought about the cut-up lemons. I said, I think we can cure this naturally because of Dr. Heimlich's genius. So I called Dr. Heimlich, and I explained, I said, what if we take the right amount of citric acid, lemon water, put it in a spray drop, and what if we just spray the top of the tongue and hit that nerve? He said, oh, my God. He said, it's brilliant. He said, it will save more lives than the Heimlich maneuver. So for the last 2 years, we developed and created this natural little spray called Alert Drops. You can go to alertdrops.com, see all the science behind it, why it works, the story behind it. But already we have saved so many lives already. Loretta Swit's going public next week. It saved her best friend's life, all because of Dr. Heimlich's genius, his understanding of sensory connection of tongue and brain. Anyone out there with a family, please have Alert Drops in your car. Anyone out there with late-night shifts where you need to be alert, please have Alert Drops in your pocket. Dr. Heimlich's knowledge will save so many lives. There's no reason anymore for unnecessary tragedy with drowsy driving.
That's tremendous. Okay, everyone needs to tune in to see Anson tackle Battle Network stars this Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And Anson, we can find information on you. Where's the best place we can go to find info on you?
Go to alertdrops.com. Alertdrops.com, and the life you save just may be your own. And watch Battle of the Network Stars next Thursday night. I think you're going to love it.
All right, Anson, thanks for calling, and best of luck, and thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. All right, see you later. Bye-bye. You're listening to Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back. It's the Neil Haley Show, and I'm excited to welcome the program comedian Rick-Gutierrez. Netflix special coming up, a bunch of different things. Rick, are you excited to what's coming up for you?
I'm Not Mad, I'm Just a Parent is my new Netflix special, man, and it's exactly what I'm selling, man. I'm not mad, I'm just a parent. it's old school parenting, the way I grew up, and I try to tell the kids how easy they have it compared to the way we did. I mean, we've got assaulted by our parents sometimes, man, but it was discipline. They're trying to teach us how to be a better person. And I try to explain that to the younger kids instead of the millennials who cry about everything and, oh, you hurt my feelings with words. Shut up. You hurt my feelings with belts. That's a big difference, my friend. So, yeah, it's a good special. And, it's one of those things when we started taping it, what better person you want than your best friend, Gabriel Iglesias, to produce your special. That's what I tell everybody. It's not even work. It's, going to play with your friends sometimes, And I think a lot of times when we start getting into, producing and producing people, there's not enough Latinos on TV. So I'm very honored that this is another one that, me being, Rick Gutierrez, Latino, I'm not mad, I'm just a parent, is, one of those things that I put out that everybody can understand, no matter what race you are.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I have 5 kids of my own, Rick, and I want to invoke discipline. Then you see the parents down the street, and they let the kids do whatever they want. And it really, some of these parents, so you're like, what's going on here, Rick? What are we supposed to do?
Dude, it's like, the thing about it is, like, you have 0 through 18 with your kids. That's all you have. To teach them everything they have to do or know to be productive in life, right? And I don't understand. It's like, dude, my dad prepared me maybe too well. They don't get jobs. I started working when I was 9 years old. 9 years old, dude. I was sweeping floors at a restaurant, 9 years old, and getting paid $5 a week. So it's like now you have to get a permit. You got to be notarized. You got to be signed by the President of the United States, and the Vice President's got to sign it too, just for you to get a job as a teenager, man. What was your first job as a teenager?
Delivering newspapers, Rick. Yep, I delivered newspapers. Oh. So I remember that.
Remember that, dude? We had paper routes, man. We used to throw the paper, and after school, it was a job we had. Then we had to go collect money from these weird people. Sometimes they smell. Yep. I'm not gonna lie. Some of these people smell. But it was a job. You learn responsibility. That's why I think the special that I'm doing or did has a lot in there. It invokes a lot of those old feelings and old references and things I grew up with, and people that the younger people that see it. It's almost like they're watching their parents and all their stuff their parents always told them. I'm kind of reinforcing that in the special, man. So it's a fun special. You'll laugh your ass off. You can watch it with your kids, and it's a good time, man.
That's great. So that's where you see the connection that you want to be a comedian that's for everyone, because you see that possibility by doing that, Rick, and the opportunities that can open up for your career even more if you can go mainstream in that way, not just comedy at comedy clubs and Netflix for only certain people. You're targeting them all, and you're especially targeting something that people want to talk about. They want to have conversations about and laugh about.
Absolutely. It's like, the conversation is always, nowadays, it's like always so people are writing too many books on how to raise kids. And they always talk this thing, they always state the same, I did a study. Well, I did a study too. My study finds out your study sucks. Your study doesn't work, man. Kids are not something that you study. Kids are OJT. When you have them, you have no idea what this person's going to turn out to be, man. You don't know if the kid's going to be crazy or a good kid or whatever, but you try your best and try to push them in the right direction. Even though every day, no, you don't know, Dad. You don't have to feel, Dad. Like, shut up. You act like I've never been a kid before, man, and they'll have kids and they'll tell them the same thing. And they'll grow up to be whatever you push them to be, That's what kills is they act like we don't know. Dude, you have kids. I got kids. We were kids. We played baseball outside till it was dusk, till it was late at night. We couldn't go inside the house because our moms cleaned every day and they didn't want the house to be dirty, So they act like we don't know, but we know. We absolutely know, man.
Exactly, Rick. And what do you think when you talk to other parents, the advice you would offer them in a way of how you were raised or myself was raised or different people, that how they can work through this, how they can figure out that, guess what? You can't allow your kids just to be in complete control of your life. You got to be in control.
No, and I don't know if I can say this, but no bullshit. Okay, just look, man. Look, the simple rules of raising kids are exactly what we do: discipline them, teach them manners, teach them to be responsible. That's all you give a kid, because when they leave on their own, they have to be presentable to the world. It's like, and kids are staying longer at home. They're staying till like they're 25, 30 years old. I go, if you want your kids out of the house, just start walking around butt naked, man. That's how you get them out. Dad, you're naked. I know, my house. Get out.
That's great. That's great. I love it, Rick, because it's what it is. We gotta speak straight to them and all these different things, and that's key. So now, not just your Netflix special, you also have a show as well. So can you tell us a little bit about your show as well on Fuse TV? Tell us about that too.
Well, Fuse TV, that was Gable's idea many years ago that he wanted to do a food show, and he couldn't figure it out. But then he said, at the time he was working out, and right now he is looking really good. The dude is lost a ton of weight. He's still fluffy, but he's looking good. He lost a ton of weight, but he wanted to do something in a way that we could eat and have a good time and work it off. So we came up with a show called Fluffy's Food Adventure, his show. And what we basically do is we go eat and then we go work out, and then we do all these crazy workouts. Like we did pole dancing on the first episode. And we ate at a place called a Heart Attack Grill in Las Vegas, where, it's like, some of the biggest burgers. And there's a sign actually out front that tells you, if you do not like fat, do not come in here. If you do not like, calories, don't come in here. It's like a big cigarette warning on a building, man. And you walk in there and there's nurses and they feed you food. It's great. And then then we go work it off. And we did pole dancing, which I thought was strange. My stripping days are over, man. I don't think there's a stripper body that I have right now. But I went out there and we tried it. I got a cramp. I broke a pole, so I did good.
Lot of fun. So again, now the Netflix special, is it available now? Right now, Rick, that we can pick up, we can stream your special?
It's going to be there for a while. Yeah, it's going to be there for a while. Let's make a trend for everybody listening around the country. Log on. funnyrick.com is my website. If you want to see a couple of clips or just get to know more about me, just go to funnyrick.com. And also go to Cable's website, fluffyguy.com, and check out Cable's website. He recently got sick, and he had to take off for a while, not touring. And so he's back now. So I hope everybody can listen and give him some more wishes, because he's made a lot of people laugh over the many years. And, just say hi to him. That Rick Gutierrez said to say hi to him. And it'd be so cool.
Fantastic. Well, thanks. Fantastic, Rick. Best of luck. Good talking to you, and good luck on your special and all your ventures, man.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, man. I'm humbled by it, man. Thank you so much.
All right, Rick. Take care, man. See ya. All right. Bye-bye. You're listening to Neil Haley's show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Total Celebrity Show. You can check me out at Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, Total Tutor, Pinterest, Neil Haley, and Google+, and also on Periscope at Total Tutor. And I'm excited to talk to this guest, because anytime I get to talk about the O.J. Simpson trial, I get excited, because everyone remembers where we're at. So I want to welcome to the program Celebrity from The People versus O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story on FX, Bruce Greenwood. Bruce, thanks for calling. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm glad to be with you this morning.
Absolutely, Bruce. I guess I'm sure all the radio tour interviews and TV interviews you've done, everyone asks you, where were you with during the O.J. Simpson trial? So what was going on? What were you at?
When the chase happened, I was at a falafel stand on Ventura Boulevard. Yep.
Really?
Yep. Walked in, and there was like 15 people jammed up against the counter. And I'm kind of going, man, it's good falafel, but it's not that good. What are people? Somebody, holy crap, what's up there on the ceiling? And there's a tiny little 9-inch television screen. And everybody was like, their falafels hanging in their hands with mouths open, just watching this Bronco drive down the 405.
I mean, I was watching it on TV, and I was just blown away. And I said, oh, my gosh, because you and I probably thought of O.J. in a different way. We thought him as the Hertz car commercial guy, and the guy who was just the greatest to interview people and one of the sweetest guys on television. And then this happened. But probably you knew O.J. in L.A.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, this tremendously sunny public persona, and which was all any of us were familiar with, except those closest to him, I guess. And it's like when It's like that's one of the things about, you know, the bizarre thing about celebrity and fame and the power of the media is those of us who are like you and me or who are in the media, we can doctor our sort of descriptions as much as we want until somebody sort of, you know, leans over the fence and has a good look, and you know, then it's all bets are off because we're all human.
Exactly. Definitely all human for sure. And I'm sure you watched the whole trial at times and getting the feedback and waiting for that verdict. And once you got the opportunity to audition, I'm sure you were excited with the cast that you were going to work with and stuff like that once you got the gig, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. They called me. Yeah. They said, listen, Nina and Brad, the producers, want to have a talk with you and see how into it you are. And I knew at that point that the script was based on Jeffrey Toobin's book, The Run of His Life. So I read that book before I had a conversation with them, and you know, by the time I closed the last page of the book, I was like, I gotta be in this. This is just too fascinating.
Yeah, because
it's about one of so many things that we're dealing with right now. Sorry?
Right. No, I was going to say it's a water cooler conversation. Think of how much of a water cooler conversation was when it happened. But now everyone's reminiscing again, for sure.
Well, the irony is, and the horrible irony is, that we're reminiscing about a time of cultural discontent that continues to this day, and or is even more resonant than it is now, than it was then. You know, I mean, you think of the riots in L.A. that preceded this trial, and you know, you look at you look what happens in Ferguson and elsewhere throughout the country, and just go, wow, this conversation ain't over.
It's definitely not over, and it leads to that conversation. And now you play Gil Garcetti, the DA, and tell us, for people that, you know, might not be our age, or you're maybe a little bit older than me, Bruce, but close to that, we all remember that time. Who's Gil Garcetti, and what was his role in this trial?
Gil Garcetti was the DA, and at that time in Los Angeles, and what the DA does is he had at that time he had about 1,100 lawyers underneath him dealing with various suits. So he was the guy with literally over 1,000 lawyers doing hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of different cases, and two of the lawyers that were assigned to OJ were sort of walked in and said, you know, that morning, when it all happened, suddenly Marcia Clark was in the driver's seat. Yep,
for sure. And what is your take on how the DA did this? Do you think he did a good job, or again, he lost, but did you think he fouled up in specific ways from studying this case and playing him?
Well, no, I don't think there's. I don't think you can lay blame at any one person at all. I mean, the more you know about the circumstances of the trial, the more you realize that it is very, very difficult given the way our justice system works, and given the way our justice system now is at the mercy of being tried in the public, tried in the media. It is very difficult to forge ahead with the truth. Sometimes the truth doesn't matter. The truth is, you know, I mean, all you have to do is look at what's happening during an election cycle to realize that, you know, truth doesn't spend a whole lot of time front and center.
Definitely, and FX Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Do you have, what's the upcoming episode? What is it going to be about? This episode coming up tonight?
Well, I think we're into episode 4, and so we shot this last year. I can't tell you exactly from memory what's going to happen tonight, but whatever happens, it'll be another opportunity to go, what the? Are you kidding me? Really? That happened?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because once you see this from this point of view, you're going to finally see stuff that you weren't able to pick up when you were watching the mainstream media cover this. And all these things and saying, holy cow, this really happened, Bruce. Really, they uncovered it. And you know, when the glove comes, how much is that going to get over off of the social media sphere when the whole glove portion comes? And I guess some of the other times in the prosecution and their foul-ups and everyone's foul-up. It'll be very interesting to relive all of that for sure, Bruce.
Well, yeah, and of course in this movie you're given context for what you could be forgiven for calling for foul ups, but you're given the context of these foul ups, and you realize what led to them making these incredibly ill-considered decisions at the last moment, and that goes for both prosecution and defense. I mean, there were tremendous missteps, and also some genius in terms of use of the media and use of the law, the way the laws are written.
The Twitter sphere was lighting up every time this is on. I already see that. I'm going to make sure I go back to On Demand to catch up on this because I'm just fascinated. I was fascinated by the trial then, and I'm fascinated now. Best place we can follow you, Bruce. Do you have a Twitter or Facebook for people to kind of connect with you?
No, I think there's a fake Facebook out there, a guy who pretends to be me. So if you see me on Facebook, it's somebody else. A couple of years ago, there was a Facebook site where the guy was going, "Yeah, me and my wife had a great holiday. Here's some pictures," and the guy pulled pictures from somewhere, and so no, I'm pretty under the radar that way. I got to pull that together. But right now, there's no Twittering to be had.
No Twittering to be had, so the best thing to do is just Google you and find out about Bruce and all the amazing other projects he has going on and has gone on. And I appreciate you calling, and definitely I'm going to check everything out. And best of luck with the rest of the show and the success of it. Okay, Bruce?
Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks a lot.
You're listening to the Total Celebrity Show, and we'll be back. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Total Celebrity Show. I'm the host of the show, Neil Haley. You can go to my website, TotalTutor.net, for more information. Twitter, TotalTutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, TotalTutor, Pinterest, Neil Haley, and Google+, and also on Periscope at TotalTutor. And when I think about this story, I remember where I was. So I'm really excited to welcome the program. Star of The People versus O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story on FX, Angel Parker. Angel, thanks for calling. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you so much.
Now, think about this, Angel. Everyone has a story about what was going on during the O.J. Simpson trial in their lives and where they were at that time. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, isn't it funny? It's like, where were you, 9/11, the Kennedy assassination, the Bronco chase. Like, just the fact that it's on that list of where were you is incredible.
I'm sure. So when you got this, were asked to do this gig, you're probably like all excited because you remember that time. You hear about the history. You hear about how people talk about this and how this is going to be very successful. I'm sure because every time anything that involves that story just gets really a lot of play for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was very much a part of our American culture, and the Bronco chase and the verdict. I mean, there were two instances that people remember exactly where they were. I was in high school when the verdict was read, and they read it over my loudspeaker. They interrupted class and let everyone know what the verdict of the O.J. Simpson trial was, and the black kids cheered and the white kids yelled, and my teacher cried. It was crazy. It was insane. So to be a part of it, I was actually an LA native as well. I was born and raised in Los Angeles and lived here during the LA riots, which then caused my family to move to South Orange County the summer after. And our show, I know, of course, our show starts with footage from the Los Angeles riots. It very much has a part of the story that we're telling and just the pulse of the city at that time. But then I moved to South Orange County, San Clemente, and Nicole Brown Simpson was from Dana Point, which is the next door. It's a neighboring city. It's our rival high schools. Our schools were rivals with each other, and so she was buried in South Orange County, and that's where O.J. Simpson was coming from in the Bronco chase. So he was found at the 405 interchange, which is a big split in South Orange County, and that's where they saw him, where his Bronco was spotted. So we were very invested in this trial and in this case, and it was also like watching a telenovela. It was like, hey, what happened on my stories today when you got home? What happened? Did that Cato guy show back up? Like it was very much a reality television, the beginning of reality television in American culture.
Oh, definitely, because people would stay glued to the screen to watch the trial. Court TV probably got its biggest ratings ever at that time, and saying, oh, my gosh, they're presenting evidence today. And everyone that was part of this trial lived in infamy for sure in specific ways. And now to bring this back, I tell you, when I heard about this, I said, I got to watch this. And then this happened so specifically enough. Tell us your role in the show and who you play.
I play Sean Chapman. She's one of O.J. Simpson's defense attorneys. I joined the trial when Johnny Cochran joins the trial, so I was one of Johnny's lawyers working with the Cochran firm, and I'd only been there a year, and then when he joined the Dream Team, he brought me and another lawyer named Carl Douglas with him. So it was a big jump in my career, in Sean Chapman's career, and my personal career, honestly.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. And so you jump into this role, and you have to basically, we're going to learn about the character and what the character thinks of this, especially defending O.J. You know, that's the big thing is we're going to see the behind the scenes of the show and see specifically enough what is written and the belief of defending O.J. and the kind of person, you know, and that's the thing. I remember O.J. Simpson running the commercials. That's O.J. Simpson, and I was a huge sports fan. So when I heard this happen, I said, not O.J. And I guess we're bringing this back to that time before what people think of O.J. today, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like LeBron James or Kobe Bryant. I mean, but bigger than that. I mean, he was a god, especially here in California. So yeah, but most defense attorneys have to deal with the feelings that Sean Chapman was dealing with. I mean, if you're a defense attorney, a lot of times your clients are guilty, but the evidence that was against O.J. Simpson was a mountain to climb, and the fact that these attorneys were able to have that jury find him not guilty is incredible. So to follow that story, and even my character Sean, when I show up in episode 2. Before we joined the trial, I'm saying, wow, you know that guy's guilty. I mean, we know people had their own feelings instantly, and then you end up having to defend him. But being a woman, I was one of the only women on the defense sympathizing with Marcia Clark. I mean, they villainized her. They tore her apart just for her looks, let alone for, you know, the way that she handled or mishandled the case. All those stories are represented well and told, and it's very conflicting to be there and to have to find O.J. Simpson not guilty, and they did it. So it's fascinating how we got there.
Have you ever played a lawyer before, or is this the first time?
No, I've played lawyers, I've played doctors, I've played reporters. I sort of always dive into those kind of smart know-it-all girls. And for a girl that never went to real college, I'm doing pretty well for myself.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And that's for sure. Again, it's on FX. The premiere is February 2nd on FX. And people got to check it out for sure. I'm going to check it out. It's going to be one of them on the list, the DVR for sure, or I guess the on-demand. That's what I live through all the time, Sean. It's just like, I mean, Angel, it's like anytime, that's what I do. So best place we can find information on you, Angel, is where can we go?
Oh, just my name. My goodness, I'm on all those sites, as they say, Angel Parker.
Well, I wish I could talk to you longer, but best of luck. I can't wait to watch the show and tweet it out and all that stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Look forward to checking it out and see the water cooler comments after the first episode, so take care.
Yeah, thank you so much. You will not be disappointed, so enjoy.
I know it's going to be huge. I have a feeling. You take care now. Thanks again. All right, see ya. All right, bye-bye. All right, that was Total Celebrity Show. Take care, everyone.
We're back to the Total Tutor Show, powered by the Beach Lifestyle Celebrity segment. Again, we are thechallenge.com, totaltutor.net, and beachlifestyleradio.com. And I'm really excited to welcome the program former Pitt Panther and NFL star Anthony Dorsett Jr. Anthony, thanks for calling, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on, brother. It's good to be talking to somebody back home.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to talk to you as well. And it's just something about, you know, the University of Pittsburgh and Panther pride. And I guess, Anthony, you never lose it, do you?
No, man. You know the saying, hell to Pitt.
That's right. That's right. So especially for our Pittsburgh audience, even though we're nationally syndicated and we're all over the world as well, Pitt is always going to be the team I always talk about. So you're my first Pitt Panther. I've had Steelers. I've had different people on in your career. And I know our Pittsburgh fans might remember when you were with the Titans and how you kind of did some things to stop the Steelers at times. So that was pretty difficult, wasn't it, playing against the Steelers? Especially,
you know, man, it was one of the best times that I had, because my rookie year, actually one of the first games that I was active was when we played the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it was great going home. It was always a hit in my pocket because, of course, I would be getting anywhere from 15 to 30 tickets per game sometimes. So, you know, that was a stretch. But outside of that, it was always good to, you know, at least play at home or play the Steelers, because I knew everybody at home was going to get a chance to see me play.
Yeah, I agree. That must be cool, always coming home in certain ways, absolutely. And, Anthony, then you had a very successful NFL career and life after football. Tell us a little bit what's going on with life after football, then we'll get into especially what we're here to talk about today.
I think life after football has been pretty good. You know, I've been able to do a couple of things, different things. Fortunately, I was able to get into some TV and radio and things like that. And I still have my hands in that niche. I'm actually trying to get back into TV this year, so hopefully you'll see me on some network. If it's not, I don't want to name any of them. I just hopefully one of them will have me. And outside of that, I do sports performance training here in Dallas with a lot of different athletes as well. So I've been staying pretty busy.
That's great. That's fantastic. And one of your initiatives is this Dorset Health Spectacular Tour. What made you want to do this? What was the reasoning? What to give back in certain ways?
Well, you know, pretty much it's always been a part of me. My mother's always been into outreach ever since I was a kid. My mom used to go into a lot of, you know, crack houses and things like that to try to help people come out. If she couldn't get the guys, if people come out of the crack houses, she would at least try to make sure they had condoms and, you know, things like that so they wouldn't be transferring diseases and everything else like that. So learning from that and just seeing my family, you know, I'm a product of a family that comes from, you know, alcoholism, drug addicts and things like that on both sides. So I've always been a high risk in a lot of areas. So, and just having my mother with the type of heart that she had and just watching her, it just always came natural for me to honestly get involved, getting back and trying to do different things.
So how long have you been involved doing this?
With the health fairs?
Yes.
We've been doing the health fairs now. This should be 3 years.
3 years. So you started the process, so it must be a large undertaking, especially going from city to city and different things, right? So it must be a large undertaking, right, from city to city and the different places and setting up all the events?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into it. You know, unfortunately, you know, we have people who come out and donate a lot of time and a lot of their money and a lot of their efforts as well. But literally, you know, it's one of those type of situations, regardless of the work, it's so beneficial for the people to actually be able to take part in that. So, you know, at the end of the day, you look past the work and you look at the benefit.
And that's so important in the process of where you're going and where you need to go in specific ways. So tell us a little bit about the Health Spectacular, especially the one coming up in Pittsburgh and some of the events involved in it.
Well, pretty much the way that it goes, we do totally free screening, and we teach people how to do healthy cooking and a couple other seminars that are involved as well. But the way it pretty much goes, we do screening from eyes, ears, we do cancer, we do AIDS, we do VMO, we do diabetes, we do eating disorders, and pretty much everything. So if each individual person comes through and goes to every screening, they get almost up to $1,500 worth of screening per individual. So at the end of the day, you know, what it goes on is say, like, you know, everyone has something going on with them. If it's not some type of small health issue, it may be a big one. You know, what we're able to do is we're able to benefit and help out people who don't have insurance or people who just don't have the means to maybe to get to the hospital or whatever. We come to the communities and come to the neighborhoods and make it a little bit easier for them if we can.
Well, Anthony, I think that's a fantastic thing that you've come up to do. I mean, absolutely, to save money, to have the ability to have those tests for people that might have been afraid to go to a hospital to do it, but they might feel more comfortable at this event.
Yeah, and I mean, it gives you a chance to come out. You actually get to meet some different celebrities because we always try to get, you know, some players from the city that we're in to come out and help out, show their faces as well, talk about some health initiatives and things like that. And then it's just always good to educate people, because a lot of times, when you're dealing with, lower income communities and things like that, just the lack of education or lack of knowledge that has these people in a lot of the areas that they're in as far as health-wise. So as long as we're able to educate and leave some knowledge with these people, we're also able to help them get going in the right direction in a lot of other areas as far as eating right, dieting, having certain ways to work out. You don't have to be in the gym all the time to get a good workout in. There are ways you can do it at home as well.
I think that's great, and I think that you're definitely bringing an awareness out there. And so, basically, for people to want to be involved in this, especially the one coming up in Aliquippa, am I correct? For the
yes,
how do they?
The tentative date right now is October 26th.
How do they get involved in that? How, especially the people that want to attend the event, but also people that would like to help as well.
Well, of course, they can look me up anywhere on Facebook. We have Dorset Health Fair Facebook page. They can follow me on Twitter at Dorset Jr. That's on Twitter at Dorset Jr. And then as well, you can also get in touch with Lakeisha Womack, who you talked to as well. And you can just find out, you could give her information if you don't mind, or, I don't want to put it out there like that right now without talking to her. But just try to find me any way that you can. And my stuff is all over the internet and everything else like that. So you can Google the Dorset Health Fair. There's the email that goes attached to that as well. And just try to get in touch with us. We'll also be putting out some different information and be sending you some different stuff as we get closer to it to make it a little bit easier for people to be able to contact us as well.
Okay, so Anthony, tell us specifically from the other events that you've done so far in the last 3 years, some of the great stories that have happened from doing your event.
Well, we kicked the first one off actually in Indianapolis when the Super Bowl was there. And it was just such a great turnout that, everyone came out. And we actually had Tony Dungy's sister come out and talk about health and some eating things as well. Ty Law, a couple other players came out. And it was actually such a benefit to the people just to see not only myself but other athletes who actually cared about what was going on with them as well. And I mean, some of the success stories were just people who did not know that, say, they may have had a health issue here, a health issue there, and they were able to come and find out exactly what was going on with them. We did another one in New Orleans this year as well for the Super Bowl, and that turned out to be a great situation as well. We actually got a lot of the youth involved this time. And, right now you have to start teaching kids some good habits. So actually bringing the youth involved and getting them involved in this last health fair was so beneficial, because now these kids are starting to understand, like, oh, this is like a lifestyle. It's not something that you just start doing all of a sudden. If we start living right now and continue, we'll be healthy all the way through the rest of our lives.
What I really like about this, Anthony, is the fact that you're doing an event like this that's so complex and involves a lot of time, but it's changing people's lives, their health. You're bringing awareness. I think it's such a fantastic part of it, and then you get to also go out and meet some of the celebrities that'll be at the events as well, and it's a great thing. What is your ultimate goal with the Dorset Health Spectacular Tour? Where do you want it to go?
I would like for this thing to grow as big as it possibly could and be able to do, several of them quarterly. That's my ultimate goal. I would like for this thing to turn into like a national event, and just be able to take it all over the country and try to hit as many different cities as we can. My ultimate goal is just what you said, man. It's to change lives. One thing about it, football, it gave me a platform to be able to do a lot of different things. And fortunately, this is something that is like a lot bigger than sports or anything else like that when you get down to it. And so, you just have to be able to step out there and try to make some things happen. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to try to do some things and people are willing to help me out at the same time.
How are the communities responding, especially Indianapolis, after you went to the event? Were they really excited that you did this?
Oh, man, it was such a great turnout, like everyone came out. They gave us like a facility at a new school that they had just built out there. I mean, the turnaround was ridiculous, and I mean, they want us to come back. We've been keeping in touch with them and everything else like that. So, the great thing about it is like when you do an event like that and the people want you to come back, you've done something right.
I mean, and that's so great. So they want you back. You plan the event, and then there has to be a lot of people behind the scenes, just like Lakeisha, you said, to get this going. And it takes a lot of people to do something like this, especially volunteer people that volunteer their time and talent. And I'm sure in Indianapolis they did for sure.
Oh yeah, and they did the same thing in New Orleans as well. And the thing about it is this. When people honestly look past like like we said earlier, you look past the work and you see the benefit of what's going on. And at the same time, when these vendors come out, we're able to start up a whole different structure for them as well, because they need to know who they can pass the generic drugs to as well. Everyone does not have copay. Everyone can't go into the drugstores and buy expensive drugs. Sometimes people have to get generic drugs as well. So this allows people to start up a generic drug database for different clientele, and just like we do so many different things at these health fairs. We scratch each other's backs in a lot of ways.
And I'm sure you're enthused to go to Pittsburgh for this. That's exciting.
Man, one thing about it, to be able to hit, my community in a lot of ways is so meaningful and beneficial. Simply because that is where I'm from, and I would love to see, the health of my neighborhood and just my family and everyone in that community to increasingly be so much better. So yes, to honestly take this back home is so major to me, and I just want this thing to be so great.
And I can see the excitement. I'm hearing the excitement in you and just saying, wow, I can't wait to be there. And I'm sure that the people in your community are going to be amazed that you're coming back. A lot of professional athletes that grew up in those areas have said, you know what, I no more. I don't need you anymore. I'm a superstar. You're humble enough to come back and say, hey, I'm here to use my gifts and talents that I did on the football field to help others, and especially help people in my community.
Those people made us the people we are today. Without fans, without community, without any of that, you could never be a star in any kind of way. So, at the end of the day, you got to be appreciative of those people that, in fact, they even like the way that you played ball or enjoy what you did.
It's so true. And I'm so happy to talk to so many athletes. And I really have to say, athletes get a bad rap when there's so many of them do foundations like you do, Anthony. I'm telling you that it's too bad. It's like compared to other people, public figures that are, that are celebrities, you guys do so much that's just it does not show up in the media all the time.
Well, the media pick and chooses what they want to show. And more times than likely, they like to tear people down because they don't honestly know that individual. They may know the only thing they know about that guy is what goes on in the field, the court, or whatever else. A lot of times, if they get to know these people and understand the outside of these people as well, they'll know that it's not about spreading the bad news all the time as well. You got to show some success stories as well. But we're just in that. Our culture is based off of that. People remember the bad more than they remember the good.
And you're definitely giving back, and I'm very, very excited, and I hope to get the chance to meet you in October at the event. I was talking to Lakeisha about it, saying I want to come and cover it and see, maybe talk to some of the other athletes that will be there. So we'll definitely stay in touch. But, Anthony, again, for our listeners, where can they find information on the Health Spectacular and also information on you?
Anthony Dorsett Jr. on Facebook, at Dorsett Jr. on Twitter, and as well at Dorset Health Spectacular on Facebook as well.
Well, Anthony, it was an honor to have you on the show. First Pitt Panther I've had on, and it's so great, and definitely, especially with the being your father is such a famous athlete as well. It was an honor to have you on the show, and definitely we'll stay in touch. So good luck at the event, and I hope to meet you there.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me on once again.
All right, hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt. I love it, Anthony. You're listening to Total Tutor Show, powered by the Beach Lifestyle Celebrity segment. We'll be back in just a minute.